ordinary type of the well bred young Englishman, but his eyes were grey and his mouth straight and firm. She came to a standstill. Her eyes seemed to be questioning him. She scarcely understood his attitude. "Kindly allow me to pass," she said coldly. "Presently," he answered. Her veil was still raised, and the flash of her eyes would surely have made a weaker man quail. But Wrayson never flinched. "What do you mean by that?" she demanded. "I have explained my presence in your room. It was an accident which I regret. Let me pass at once." "You have explained your presence here," he answered, "after a fashion. But you have not explained what your object may be in making use of that key to enter Mr. Barnes' flat. Are you proposing to subject his belongings to the same inspection as mine?" he asked, pointing to his disordered desk. "My business with Mr. Barnes is no concern of yours," she exclaimed haughtily. "Under ordinary circumstances, no," he admitted. "But these are not ordinary circumstances. Forgive me if I speak plainly. I found you engaged in searching my desk. The presumption is that you wish to do the same thing to Mr. Barnes." "And if I do, sir," she demanded, "what concern is it of yours? How do you know that I have not permission to visit his rooms, that he did not himself give me this key?" She held it out before him. He glanced at it and back into her face. "The supposition," he said, "does not commend itself to me." "Why not?" He looked at the clock. "You see," he declared, "that it is within a few minutes of midnight. To be frank with you, you do not seem to me the sort of person likely to visit a bachelor such as Mr. Barnes in a bachelor flat at this hour without some serious object." She kept silence for several moments. Her bosom was rising and falling quickly, and a brilliant spot of colour was burning in her cheeks. Her head was thrown a little back, she was regarding him with an intentness which he found almost disconcerting. He had an uncomfortable sense that he was in the presence of a human being who, if it had lain in her power, would have killed him where he stood. Further, he was realizing that the woman whom at first glance he had pronounced beautiful was absolutely the first of her sex whom he had ever seen who satisfied completely the demands of a somewhat critical and highly cultivated taste. The silence between them seemed extended over a time crowded and rich with sensations. He found time to marvel at the delicate whiteness of her bosom, gleaming like polished ivory under the network of her black gown, to appreciate with a quick throb of delight the slim roundness of her perfect figure, the wonderful poise of her head, the soft richness of her braided hair. Every detail of feature and of toilette seemed to satisfy to the last degree each critical faculty of which he possessed. He felt a little shiver of apprehension when he recalled the cold brutality of the words which had just left his lips. Yet how could he deal with her differently? "Is this man Morris Barnes your friend?" she asked, breaking a silence which had done more than anything else to unnerve him. "No," he answered. "I scarcely know the man. I have never seen him except in the lift or on the stairs." "Then you have no excuse for keeping me here," she declared. "I may be his friend, or I may be his enemy. At least I possess the key of his flat, presumably with his permission. My presence here I have explained. I can assure you that it is entirely accidental. You have no right to detain me for a moment." The clock on the mantelpiece struck midnight. A sudden passion surged in his veins, a passion which, although at the time he could not have classified it, was assuredly a passion of jealousy. He remembered the man Barnes, whom he hated. "You shall not go to his rooms at this hour!" he exclaimed. "You don't know the man. If you were seen—" She laughed mockingly. "Let me pass," she insisted. He hesitated. He saw very clearly that she was conquering. A moment before she had respected this man. After all, though, he was like the others. "I will go with you and wait outside," he said doggedly. "Barnes, at this hour, is not always sober." Her lips curled. "Be wise," she said, "and let me go. I do not need your protection or—" She broke off suddenly. The interruption was certainly startling enough. From a table only a few feet off came the shrill tinkle of a telephone bell. Wrayson mechanically stepped backwards and took the receiver into his hand. "Who is it?" he asked. The voice which answered him was faint but clear. It seemed to Wrayson to come from a long way off. "Is that Mr. Wrayson's flat in Cavendish Mansions?"